New York City Campaign Finance Board. The first item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from the August 15, 2019 meeting. I move their approval. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
I abstain.
The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the report of the chair, so here goes. This fall, city voters will decide 5 ballot questions proposed by the 2019 Charter Revision Commission that, if adopted, will change New York City's charter. The CFB is asking New Yorkers and interested organizations to submit pro or con statements on the 5 proposed city charter amendments that will appear on the ballot citywide on November 5th. Statements submitted by October 4 will be published in the city's official online voter guide. Earlier this week, Executive Director Loprest and I testified before the New York State Public Campaign Finance Commission about the positive impact that New York City's matching funds program has had on city elections. In the 2017 elections, for instance, 93% of census block groups in the 5 boroughs had at least one contributor to a city candidate. Candidates, too, have overwhelmingly embraced the program. Typically, more than 90% of candidates on citywide primary ballots opt to seek matching funds and the rigorous requirements that come with them. We urge the Commission to seize this opportunity to provide all of New York State with the same benefits that we in New York City, voters and candidates alike, have enjoyed for more than 30 years. I'll now turn to our Voter Assistance Advisory Committee Chair, Naomi Zauderer, for her report.
Thank you, Chair Schaefer. With the general election right around the corner, NYC Votes and the Voter Assistance Advisory Committee are getting ready for a major voter registration push on September 24th as part of National Voter Registration Day. NYC Votes is proud to be the lead agency for New York and is seeking to partner with groups across New York State to hold voter registration drives in their communities. The next 12 months are filled with new and exciting voting experiences in New York, making this the perfect time for nonprofits, businesses, and community groups to connect with fellow citizens around voting. Early voting will take place for the first time in October, with poll sites opening 10 days prior to Election Day, and the state's presidential primary is approaching in early 2020. Over a dozen organizations have already signed up through NYC Votes to hold National Voter Registration Day events. NYC Votes will provide organizations that sign up throughout New York with voter registration training and materials. There are 2 upcoming training dates, the first of which is this Saturday, September 14th, and the following Tuesday, September 17th. Please RSVP on the CFB website to secure a seat at one of these training sessions. And with that, I will turn it over to Executive Director Amy Loprest.
Thank you. The staff is busy getting ready for this fall's election. There will be a print voter guide sent with the information about the ballot questions sent to all voters in the 5 boroughs. In addition, we are preparing educational materials to teach voters about the new early voting possibilities, including a video that should be issued shortly demonstrating about the early voting. Also, the rules that the board passed last month will be in effect next week. We will be posting them on our website, and also we will be posting the 2021 penalty guidelines at the same time. I'm also happy to report that we are more than halfway through the 2017 audits. We have completed 119 of 224 audits, which is almost 2 times as fast as we completed the 2013 audits. So I'm very pleased with that progress. And of the audits that we have issued, 107 had no penalties at all. Finally, if you happen to miss it, this weekend, the Wall Street Journal published an in-depth story about the 2021 election cycle, focusing on the ongoing candidate training services that the CFB's candidate guidance and policy staff are conducting. The story highlights the CFB's commitment to letting all New Yorkers who are interested in running for office of the opportunities available to them through the Matching Funds program. Please read the article when you have an opportunity.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is our announcement of campaigns in compliance. The following candidate from the 2017 elections has completed the post-election audit process without any violations and penalties assessed by the Campaign Finance Board. The board recognizes the diligence of the candidate and his campaign staff in running a campaign that maintained compliance with New York City's campaign finance law. The candidate in question was a first-time candidate. He was Kalman Yeager from City Council District 44. The next item in our agenda is a candidate appearance on a contested penalty recommendation. The candidate is Mr. Jason Cancel. Is Mr. Cancel here? Before you come up, Mr. Cancel, I want to let you know that because we were a little delayed in getting started, we've had a preliminary conversation or deliberation, if you will, on your matter. And our inclination is to uphold the finding of a violation, but to impose no penalty. Notwithstanding that, you are free to address us if you like. I suppose there's a risk you'll talk us out of that particular conclusion. But if you don't speak, that will be our action. If you'd like to say hello, you're also welcome to do that. Over here. And I guess since you're coming up, we'll have the staff of the CFB come up as well. But I hope this will be a short conversation. Push the button so it turns green. There you go.
I'd like to thank you for having me. Just quite peeved that I even have to go through this, seeing as though my campaign tried the hardest.
Mr. Cancel, can you just talk a little bit more directly?
Right into the
Yeah.
microphone.
Okay. I'm a bit of a soft talker, but yeah, just quite peeved that I even have to go through this, seeing as though I tried to run for my community and gain so little in campaign finances, yet it was still tried to be, penalized for us trying. So it kind of felt like it's a direct jab at us, at me, at anybody who's trying to run against anybody else, if they're trying to do it on their own. So that's like my only issue I have with the situation.
Let me respond. We understand that our law is, for better or worse, a complex one. And we understand that in the vast majority of cases, people who commit violations do not do so willfully. They do so because they misunderstood something or lost some documents or things of that nature.
If I may, it's not that it's complicated. It's pretty self-explanatory. All regulations are. It's just the way it's expressed and determined by the people who are in charge of it is what makes it complicated.
Right. Well, in your case, you had a very small campaign and probably
and that's one of the
could have
reasons
avoided an audit altogether.
Right. Which is why when I read it, I saw that, if it's less than 2,000, it's supposedly non-regulatable.
Right.
In terms of the Campaign Finance Board. Well,
we appreciate that this was something of a burden on you. As I indicated, we're prepared to, in light of how small the campaign was, to waive any penalties, and we wish you well.
I guess that's the only other thing I would say is I just want other campaigns to be helped as well. I missed the chance to speak at the last thing you had when you were changing the regulations within the year. I think it was the new year. It's very hard to get campaign financing, I found, from your own community, especially when your community is the third poorest in the city. it's like asking somebody to give food out of their children's mouth. So there needs to be some newer ways to get money from them, or to get money, or to regulate the unions more and giving campaign finances to those who are already seated, because that was my only option in going in. And I found that my actual candidate that I was running against actually cornered the whole market with that. So I wasn't able to gain anything. Right.
You'll be happy to know that one of the changes in the law, which goes directly to that issue, is that contributions now as low as $5 are recognized, whereas previously it had been 10.
Well, as my campaign could show, even $5, even $1 wasn't gainable. These people are very struggling. Even $5 to $10 is not enough, because, like I said, the people in the community are struggling, and they're the ones who have the lowest voices, yet they need the most help, and they can't even fathom of giving a couple of dollars to somebody who they know will help, but they just can't do it. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, that's all. It's unfortunate I still keep the violations, but I appreciate that you guys withdrew the penalties, at least, because like it is, it's $200, and for you to penny pinch for 700, it's a bit much.
We got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So we will now go into deliberations, and we'll be back in a little while.
Appreciate the time and everything you do. Thank you.
All right, we're back in session, and we're going to vote on a series of candidates, which includes their findings, penalties, payments, and repayments, all in one package. I'll do it candidate by candidate, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve. First candidate is Jason Cancel from the 2017 election cycle, City Council District Number 15. The board finds the following violations: failing to provide bank statements, failing to demonstrate compliance with reporting requirements for receipts, filing late disclosure statements, failing to file disclosure statements, failing to respond to the draft audit report. With respect to each of those findings, the board finds a violation, but imposes no penalty. And so the total is 0 penalties. Next candidate is Sarah Gonzalez, also from the 2017 elections. She was a candidate for City Council District 38. The board makes the following findings of violations with the following recommended penalties: failing to demonstrate compliance with cash receipts reporting and documentation requirements, penalty of $943. Accepting a contribution from a corporation with a penalty of $125. Failing to demonstrate that spending was in furtherance of the campaign, a penalty of $642. Total recommended penalties of $1,710. Ms. Gonzalez is also entitled to a further or to payment of public funds in the amount of $2,394. And so that nets out that she will receive a further payment of $684. Next candidate, Victor Jordan from 2017, a city council candidate in District 41. The board makes the following findings of violations and imposes the following penalties: failing to provide bank statements, $96. Failing to demonstrate compliance with cash receipts reporting and documentation requirements, $61. Failing to demonstrate compliance with the reporting requirements for receipts, $240. Failing to file a disclosure statement, $180. Accepting contributions from unregistered political committees, $1,261. Failing to respond to the draft audit report, $500, for total recommended penalties of $2,338. Next candidate, Carlina Rivera, 2017 election for City Council District 2. The board finds the following violations and proposes the following penalties: failing to report transactions, $149. Next, filing a late disclosure statement, an infraction but no penalty. Failing to report transactions in daily pre-election disclosure statements, $250. Failing to document transactions, $156, for total recommended penalties of $555. Next, candidate Deborah Rose, a 2017 candidate for City Council District 49. The board finds the following violations and proposes the following penalties: failing to report transactions in daily pre-election disclosure statements, $250. Failing to document transactions, the board finds a violation but imposes no penalty. Accepting an over-the-limit contribution, $1,275. Accepting contributions from corporations, limited liability companies, or partnerships, $618. Failing to demonstrate that spending was in furtherance of the campaign, $875. Making a cash expenditure greater than $100, $50. Exceeding the expenditure limit, $300, for total recommended penalties of $3,368. In addition, there is a required repayment of public funds of $5,067.05 for a total of penalties and public funds repayment of $8,435.05. Next, candidate Jack Royster, a 2017 candidate for City Council District 9. The board finds the following violations and proposes the following penalties: failing to provide bank statements, $179. Failing to demonstrate compliance with the reporting requirements for receipts, $448. Filing a late disclosure statement, $157. Failing to respond to the draft audit report, $500, for total recommended penalties of $1,284. The next candidate is Jasmine Sanchez, a 2017 candidate for City Council District 2. And with respect to the following findings of violations and proposed penalties, they are applicable rather than to the nominal treasurer of her campaign. The liability will be that of also that of Yvette Garcia as agent for the candidate, based on a finding that Yvette Garcia effectively functioned as treasurer. Filing a late disclosure statement, $600. Failing to report and document basic campaign functions or activities, $1,000. Failing to document transactions, $137. Accepting an over-the-limit contribution, $125. And making a material misrepresentation, which we also find to be a breach of certification, $10,000. For total recommended penalties of $11,862. Finally, candidate Brian Waddell, a 2017 candidate for Manhattan Borough President. The board finds the following violations and proposes the following penalties: failing to provide bank statements, $50. Failing to demonstrate compliance with reporting requirements for receipts, $50. Filing a late disclosure statement, $50. Failing to respond to the draft audit report, $500. for total penalties of $650. I move the approval of those findings and recommended penalties, payments, and repayments. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Next, we have a motion to dismiss complaints against candidate Carlina Rivera. Do we need any further detail on that, or shall we just vote?
No, the staff is just recommending that the board dismiss a complaint made against the Carlina Rivera campaign in District 2 for the 2017 election.
I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. I'll now make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much. We stand adjourned.
Chris, do you have an extra one of the penalty charts, the revision for